All right, you New Year's resolutioners, or just anybody who's looking to get in shape as we go into the new year. I've got Dr. Lindsay Toth, Assistant Professor of Exercise Science at UNF, and we are going to be talking about how to take that step to better your health. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite, and I'm really excited to speak about this topic as it's one of my major passions, and I get to teach about it almost every day, which is also super cool.
Yes, and before we get into the actual advice, let's talk about the benefits, the long-term, the short-term benefits of being more active.
Well, the short-term benefits of being active are improved mental clarity, so improved cognition or thinking throughout the day. We have improved sleep as well. And this bleeds over to our long-term, but evidence shows us that exercise throughout the day is also going to improve our depression and anxiety symptoms. Moving on to the long-term outcomes, we see reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. We see reduced risk of certain cancers, specifically colon and breast cancers.
Really?
Also, just your overall ability to engage in life and daily activities is going to be improved as well. And we can't forget about our metabolic responses. And so that would include weight management and management of metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes.
What do you recommend for different generations, say from kids to grandparents?
For children, we would urge them to get at least 60 minutes of physical activity a day. And that physical activity should be joyful movement. And joyful movement is running around, is play, jumping off of things, climbing on things, of course, safely, but it includes our cardiovascular health and also improving that muscular and bone strength as well. So moving on, our next stage of life would be adults. What is the goal for our adults? Here we're suggesting about 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week. So that looks like about 30 minutes of aerobic, moderate physical activity throughout the day, almost every day of the week. Or we also could look at this in terms of vigorous physical activity. In that case, if we're more into running or more vigorous activities, those folks should be aiming for at least 75 minutes of aerobic physical activity per week. Now, we can't forget about our muscle strengthening activities either. So we'd like to hit about every major muscle group about twice per week. And again, here, we don't need to go to the gym to do this. You can start with simple activities just in your house using your own body weight. So we've got our aerobic physical activity recommendations and our anaerobic, which is our muscle strengthening recommendations. Additionally, we should also talk about our older population. Now, their recommendations are just about the same as general adults. 150 minutes of moderate level aerobic physical activity per week, or if we're still doing that vigorous, about 75 minutes of vigorous level aerobic physical activity for those folks as well. And we can't forget about strength training either, still each major muscle group twice a week. And some balance training is also critical for our older population because it's going to help reduce the risk of falling.
Everyone wants to know then, how do we get started and how do we stay motivated in this time we're living in when people don't really want to go to the gym and breathe all over everyone?
And an easy way to get started is just to go out and start walking. The easiest way to measure physical activity is through something either using time-based, so I went for a 30-minute walk, or even counting steps. Our phones will count steps for us. Our wearable activity monitors will count steps for us. The general American takes between 4,000 and 6,000 steps per day, and that's not enough. Evidence shows us that we need to be taking around 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day to actually have these health outcomes, these health benefits. So again, an easy way to get started is to just look at what level of physical activity you're currently getting and aim for just a slight bit more. Now, if you're concerned about maybe some COVID transmission in that gym venue where everyone's huffing and puffing and working out hard, really great example or really great option for everyone is to create a ledger or engage in some competition, friendly competition with your old exercise buddy or your original exercise buddy. Now, that can be attained through simple phone calls throughout the day, simple text messages encouraging each other. Or if you do have a wearable device like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, use use that device. And again, find that joyous movement.
Yes.
Joyful movement that really makes you happy, and go do it, because any movement is better than no movement.
Thank you so much for getting us motivated and helping us stay healthy and active as we go into 2022.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course. And if you'd like to see this segment again, just head on over to firstcoastliving.net.